Scott, this is nice to see. XDefiant finally has a release date. And it's just a couple weeks from now. Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. It's been a long time coming, but the big day is finally almost here. Following a weekend-long stress test that ran earlier this month, Ubisoft's long-awaited free-to-play XDefiant, the first-person shooter, is set to launch on May 21st. XDefiant was announced in 2021, Scott. 3 years ago, eh? It's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of been a bumpy road.
It certainly has, because it didn't go especially well. The initial response, right down to the silly, stylized title, was so negative that Ubisoft mashed the brakes on the whole thing for almost a full year, later emerging reworked branding and decidedly more tactical attitude. That is horrible. A well-regarded open beta and multiple delays followed, but a promised stress test in April went ahead, and Ubisoft was apparently satisfied by what they saw. The XDefiant launch will begin with a pre-season that's slated to run for 6 weeks with 5 factions, 14 maps, and 5 game modes. Dude, that's cool. Domination, Hotshot, Occupy, Escort, and Zone Control. There will also be a ranked mode practice playlist with 4v4 competitive matches in Domination, Occupy, Escort, and Zone Control. Once the preseason is done, XDefiant will roll into a seasonal cadence with new maps, weapons, events, and a new faction planned to be added every 3 months. Kind of reminds me of Siege, Scott.
Yeah, a new faction. You're right. Siege would make sense that way. I'm thinking, well, where else are they going to pull things from the Ubisoft universe, though? How many factions could there be?
Well, that's what I'm like, man, you already got a pretty good list of factions as it is. Where are you heading next? Because you're already mashing up a bunch of your IPs that I think surprise all of us. 4th Echelon being in the mix there as a stealth, but yet
yeah,
I get it too. Some of the abilities, I don't know. We'll see. The goofy name and overall vibe set initial expectations low, but beta tests in 2023 fired hopes that it may actually be, well, good. Some of that arises with dissatisfaction with the current state of the online shooter scene, but former Call of Duty creative strategist Robert Bowling described XDefiant on Twitter as a, quote, a refinement of what Call of Duty used to do so well back in the original Modern Warfare era. Big words, man. Call of Duty made a choice to move away from the roots and origins. It's expanded to be a everything shooter, Bowling tweeted. XDefiant knows what it is and does it well. PC Gamer editor Tyler Wilde and Morgan Park enjoy their time with it too. Dude, I know my kids are pumped to play it. Austin right now can't wait for this to come out. This will be exciting news for him to hear that he's finally coming. He's already got his buddies lined up. Like, they're already set, ready to launch in, and he can't wait. Are you jumping in?
We played a little bit of it in some of the early tests, and I'm not sure if it's the kind of shooter for me. I'm more of a slower, methodical Battlefield kind of thing. Alternately, oddly enough, though, Titanfall. I love that super fast twitch shooting action. So this falls somewhere in the middle to me, and then therefore I'm probably going to skip over it. But it's interesting to see how many people really swarm to this game because of its offerings and versus the other games. They mentioned some distaste or dissatisfaction with the shooter community at large right now. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's really accurate anymore because Battlefield's good now. Halo's good now.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty's kind of always been doing its thing. So I'm not sure I agree with the desperation in the scene. But regardless, I think this might be the shooter for a lot of people.
I think this is an opportunity for somebody to come in and not overthrow Call of Duty, but at least give them some different competition, right? It's always been Call of Duty, Battlefield. Call of Duty, Battlefield. And Battlefield, bit of a roller coaster as of late. Call of Duty, I'd probably be somewhere in around the same as well, but it's always been just the two head-to-head. Nobody else can really come in and compete. Can XDefiant compete? I think that's the biggest question. Can you pull some of that community away, right? They should be reaching out to some of these big streamers and saying, hey, come play our game. We'll pay you a little bit here. Hang out for us for a month and see if they can help really kind of grow that and take it to the next level. Dude, I think there's a lot of expectations from this. We've seen Ubisoft come out with something new and then scrap it. Hyperscape, just saying, right? Like, it's just one of those didn't last, man. And they tried to have a piece of that pie. Can they do that here with XDefiant and have something unique enough? Which I think they can, because they're pulling in all these factions. My other question is, dude, what is the next faction? I'm like really curious to see.
Yes.
What is that other faction?
It's gonna be Rabbids.
Oh my goodness. Mario Sparks comes over. A Nintendo branch. Dude, can you imagine? I don't know.
Oh, that'd be the most shooter Nintendo property ever. There's no way they would allow that.
It would be funny to see, but yeah, that'll never happen. I don't know. XDefiant, I think, has a shot. I'm just wondering to see how long it actually lasts. Are we still talking about XDefiant in 6 months? A year from now? Because Call of Duty is here year in, year out, right? And right now, the team over at DICE and Battlefield are working on the next Battlefield game. There's an opportunity here, man. There could be a gap for them to actually sneak in and take it. But you should take us over at ITGTV.com. We keep up to date with everything we're doing over there.